Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this Facebook Live session. I'm Joanna from New Way Consultancy, and today with me we have the International Officer from Coventry University, Georgia. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Would you like to introduce a bit of yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Joanna. So thank you very much for inviting me. First of all, I really enjoy doing these Facebook Live sessions. It's great to sort of have a question answer session with all of you that are interested in Coventry, and I can sort of take you through what Coventry is about as well. So I work with students coming from Bangladesh, but I'm happy to try and answer any questions that you might have today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And feel free to join, ask all your questions in regard courses, scholarship, fees. We will be able to answer all these questions and doubts you have at the end of this session. So stay with us and you will be a bit more clear on how to start this process of application, master's degree, undergraduate, and every other question. So first, I would like to start with you, Georgia, a bit of why students to choose Coventry University.
Of course, yeah. So this is one of my favorite questions to answer because I can answer it quite easily. I've put together a presentation for you, but I appreciate you'll have a lot of presentations from a lot of different places. So I'm going to try and keep this short to maybe 10, 15 minutes. Then we can get on with a question answer session and answer any questions you have as well. So to start... Sorry, go on, Joanna.
No, sorry to interrupt. You're amazing. So I'm just going to share the slide with you, and then you'll be able to take us through it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and
thank you. So I want to start with that. The first question I tend to get asked from students is, where is Coventry and why should I come to Coventry? So Coventry is right in the centre of the United Kingdom. It is a 10-minute train journey away from Birmingham Airport, and it's around 1 hour train journey away from London. This is probably my favourite part of Coventry. I am from Coventry myself. I've lived here for pretty much my whole life, and nowhere is too far away to explore the United Kingdom. With an hour from London, 10 minutes from Birmingham, very close to Stratford and other big cities as well. Right in the centre, nowhere is too far away. So we've been recognised for global impact. So we are the lead in UK for overseas student experiences. And that is a title that we've had for 5 years. We've been recognised for the 4th best in the world for online open courses. Of course, with the COVID-19 pandemic that swept across everybody's lives, really, really nice to have been recognised for being excellent at online courses. Another accolade we're very proud of, we are in the top 30 universities in the world for our treatment of international students. So what we do at Coventry is we have been recognised for being very good at it. We have excellent support systems in place for international students, so you can get the most out of your time in the United Kingdom and in Coventry University. Going the other way, we're also 4th in the UK for students overseas, so any overseas experiences that you want to have, we have a dedicated team that's there to make sure that your overseas experience is the best that it can be. Quickly run you through, so we've had five QS star ratings, and I can hear you say, what does that mean for me? It means that we've been recognised nationally for being excellent in areas such as teaching, employability, internationalisation, innovation and online learning. So we are actually the only UK university that's been recognised for having 5 QS stars for our online learning experience. So really, I'm going to quickly run you through some of our most popular courses and how our faculties are broken down. You'll see here there's a link, and I'm going to leave this on the screen for a moment in case you want to write it down. This is how you can bring Coventry to life, by going to have a virtual tour of our wonderful Coventry campus. So please do have a go at that. I would do it now, but I don't want to eat up all of Joanna's time, or she won't invite me for another session. So to start then, so our faculties are split into 4 faculties. The first being engineering, environmental and computing. So this encompasses everything that I'm sure you can imagine, anything to do with engineering, computing, automotive, ethical hacking, games technology, engineering, project management, mechanical engineering, etc. So what I will say about Coventry University is we do have 3 intakes throughout the year, January, May and September. And unlike some of the UK universities, we always have a January intake, which means the coming January, we're very well prepared. The majority of courses are running, including mechanical engineering, engineering project management, and more. So we've been recognised as being the third best in the UK for mechanical engineering in particular. We also have a larger round of professional accolades and accreditations on our courses in engineering, environmental and computing. Such courses are accredited by the likes of the Institute of Engineering and Technology, 𝗍𝗍𝗄, and the British Computing Society. We also have business and law, and I love this picture. That is our business and law building on a sunny day. We do have some sunny days in the UK, so they must have snapped this on one of them. Our business and law faculty is ranked 15th best in the UK in the Guardian league tables. Certain courses are very highly ranked, such as hospitality and event management, which was ranked 4th in the UK. And again, professional accreditations by likes of the 𝗍𝗂𝗂𝗍 for accountancy, Chartered Institute of Securities and Investments. And some of our most popular courses, as you can imagine, are accounting and finance, advertising and marketing, business management, global business management, law, LLM and LLB, and sports management. Again, a large number of these are running for January. Quickly, I'm going to run you through the arts and humanities, which is one of our unsung heroes at Coventry. We do really well in our arts and humanities faculty. So we are 4th in the UK for film production and photography, 8th in the UK for journalism and PR. And again, we are professionally accredited by the likes of the Royal Institute of British Architects for architecture and Adobe as well. So some of our most popular courses include architecture, English, creative writing, graphic design, media and communications, and international relations. So our last faculty is health and life sciences. And I think this is probably my favourite. Not that I have any background in the area, but the building for the health and life sciences department is fantastic. It was built in 2016 and it was opened by Wills and Kate, who are the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. Had to think then. So we offer excellent courses in health and life sciences. Particularly, we're recognised for being one of the nations leading in nursing and midwifery. We're currently ranked 4th best in the UK. Nursing courses always fill up very, very quickly. So if you are interested in that, I would absolutely advise making an application as soon as possible. And we are accredited as well by the UK Nursing and Midwifery Council, Chartered Society of Physiotherapists, and Health and Care Professionals Council. So you can be assured that any degree you're getting from Coventry University, you can take it straight into the workplace and be sure that you have the skills needed to work. So some popular courses: nursing, adult nursing, learning and disabilities and mental health, biomedical sciences, criminology, dietetics, which I can never say, psychology, and sport and exercise therapy. The facilities in this faculty are second to none. There's a fully working ambulance, there's a midwifery centre, and there are biolabs as well. So the question that I tend to get asked most often is about scholarships, and we will go into this in a bit more detail during our conversation in a moment. But for Bangladeshi students, we are offering a Territory Award scholarship, which will be £1,500 off your tuition fees, so long as you paid your deposit by December the 1st. For India, it's slightly different. We're offering an International Academic Excellence Award, which again will be £1,500 to successful applicants that have secured the equivalent of a first in their bachelor's for master's degrees, or 70% for their undergraduate degree. Again, we'll talk about this in a bit more detail. Entry requirements, please note this is for Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is my specialty area. English requirements: for undergraduate, we would require IELTS level of 6 with no less than 5.5. For postgraduate, it's 6.5 with no less than 5.5 as well. Appreciate that not everybody can get IELTS at the moment due to various test centres being closed or the like. So we are also accepting Pearson Vasant's tests, Oxford English and TOEFL as well. So academic requirements for undergraduate, we would expect you to pass the secondary certificate with a minimum of 65% or a GPA of 3.5. And for postgraduate, we would expect to pass in your undergraduate degree with a 65% overall. So how to apply then? Easy answer is to just go straight to New Way Consultancy. Joanna there is more than happy to help you. If you want any more information as well, the link is on the screen. So thank you. I hope that I kept your attention for that. I didn't want to take too long because now Joanna and I are just going to have a conversation to answer any further questions.
Yes, thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you so much for taking us through a bit roughly what's happening and what should happen on how to apply in the university as well. So you answered a bit of why choosing Coventry University, but I would like to ask you, what are the requirements for international students in order to make the application in your university?
Of course. So as I'm sure you can imagine, all regions, countries are slightly different. I can speak with much confidence on Bangladesh because I am the country manager for Bangladesh, Nepal and Sri Lanka. The entry requirements for an undergraduate degree would be 65% or a GPA of 3.5. You can take this as a rough benchmark if you're from another country that we would expect between 60 and 65%. For undergraduate. For postgraduate, we would expect similar, so 65% in your undergraduate degree. If you aren't sure, if you think that maybe you're slightly lower than the 65%, I would always advise you to get in touch with New Way Consultancy, have a conversation with them, because the odds are if you're 1 or 2% below, but perhaps you have work experience, we would still consider you. And we do offer a large range of foundation courses as well. So if you're not quite hitting the mark, but you do have your heart set on a degree, we want to encourage that. We want enthusiastic students to come and join us in Coventry. So even if you are slightly low, we can offer you foundation courses as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much for answering that question. As we have lots of international students wanting to apply in the university, they want to know it. So thank you.
Of course.
Another question is, what are the courses that's starting on January 2021? So let's say if international student wants to apply for postgraduates, you can even mention a bit of undergraduate as well, but mostly postgraduate courses for January.
Sure. So I mentioned in the presentation that we are one of the only UK universities to consistently offer courses in January. So some universities might have 6 or 8 courses running. We have closer to 100. So rather than sort of waste your time and list every single course that we are offering in January, what I would recommend you to do is, if you know the course that you want to be applying for, to specifically have a look, because 95% sure we are offering the course that you want to do. So to name some of the popular ones off the top of my head, we're offering law, we're offering finance and accounting, global business management, mechanical engineering, project management, all forms of engineering, nursing. I'm trying to think, what else are the popular ones? Essentially, we're running the vast majority of our courses in January. So I won't sit here and list every single one because you'll soon turn the screen off. But we are running the majority.
No, it's great. It's great to hear all the courses, because it's great to hear the students have options to choose from and not just being leaded into a pathway. So, it's great to hear that.
Absolutely.
Another question I have from student is, do you offer internal English assessment? So let's say if they do not have IELTS or another specific English certificate, do your university offer internal English assessment?
Yes, we do. So in an ideal world, I would be flying out to Bangladesh to conduct our Coventry University English tests with you. My colleagues would be coming out to Nigeria or India to do the same. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, obviously, we're not able to travel to market countries. So we can't conduct the English test at the moment, and it hasn't been able to be put online. That is something that our IT guys people that are smarter than me. Maybe there are software engineers watching that think I could probably do that. We haven't been able to get it online yet. So at the moment, we are offering Oxford English because we think that's the most similar to our Coventry University internal English test. But at the moment, because of the pandemic, we aren't. But in a normal world, we would be coming out and doing that face-to-face. So I would recommend, if you can't get IELTS, to go for Oxford English or 𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃, because we are offering both of those.
That's great.
Sorry, that's quite a long answer.
No, thank you. They're more clear now, I'm sure of that. Another question is, what documents do students from Bangladesh or usually international students need in order to be able to secure an offer letter from you?
Of course. So we would require academic transcripts as a rule. We would need English certificate. So from one of the ones I've just mentioned to prove your English. We would conduct a credibility interview as well for students from Bangladesh, students from India. Would have to go through a credibility test. That is because when you go to apply for your visa, you will have one then as well with the embassy. The visa office. So we want to prepare you for that and do almost like a test credibility interview, but also we're assessing your suitability for our university as well. We would also expect bank statements to show a minimum requirement. Again, the visa office will ask for that as well. So by asking for these documents, we're just getting you ready for your visa interview and requirements as well. But everybody is slightly different. So some courses we might need slightly different documentation from you. We'd always require things like a passport. But what I would certainly recommend is once you've made an application, we will give you an offer letter, and it will clearly state on the offer letter the 5 or 6 requirements that you have to fulfill to then receive your CAS letter. But yeah, the ones I've mentioned tend to be the same for everybody.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Also, we have lots of questions, but one of the most common ones is the tuition fee. So roughly, if you can mention to us for postgraduate courses, as I said, you can talk to us through a bit of undergraduate as well. Roughly, how much are the tuition fees?
Sure. So our tuition fees are quite standard for the United Kingdom. They tend to vary from 12,500 up to 15,500 for undergraduate or postgraduate courses. As you can imagine, some are more expensive. Some of our London courses are slightly more expensive. They can get up to 16 or 17,000, but the majority are within that 13 to 15,000 range, which is quite standard for the United Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And another question we get after the tuition fee is scholarships.
Of course.
So you don't want to know how much scholarship are you offering for international students? Most common one in postgraduate courses.
Sure. So scholarships tends to be the first question I get asked. So I'm surprised that you didn't ask that straight away. So Coventry do scholarships slightly different to other universities. We announce our scholarships only for the intake, for the next intake. So I can confirm our January scholarships with you, but our May and September scholarships haven't yet been announced. But for January, we are offering scholarships for Bangladeshi students of £1,500 off your tuition fee. That's for undergraduate and postgraduate courses. Doesn't matter what course you're doing, whether you're doing nursing or mechanical engineering. You're all entitled to £1,500 off. The only condition to receive that scholarship is you have to have paid your deposit of £8,000 by December the 1st. So in order to release the CAS, you have to pay £4,000, but in order to enroll, you have to pay an additional £4,000. So what they've done with the scholarships is say, pay your £8,000 and then you've done everything and we'll give you a scholarship. So for India, I can mention it's slightly different. So we have an academic excellence award for India. So again, it's £1,500 off your tuition fees, but that will be eligible for people that have received 70% or above in their GPA or in their undergraduate course. I do apologise, I don't know the scholarships for Nigeria, but I will find out and I will let you know, Joanna, so you can communicate that to students.
Yes, of course. And I'm sure they can find out on your website as well.
It would be, yeah, it will be on the website as well.
And by contacting us Of course, we will be there to answer all their questions.
Of course.
Another question I have for you today is, let's say, for example, if students want to pay the full tuition fee at the registration day, do they get any extra discount for it?
I think they have done in the past, and that is again something that they revise every intake. For January, I don't believe that there's any discount for paying your full fees. It would just be the £1,500 scholarship, because if you pay all your fees, then you've paid enough to get a scholarship. So you'd get the £1,500 off.
That's good. And I don't know if you mentioned about the deposit. So how much do they need to pay for deposit if they want to secure CAS, for example, let's say? How much is the deposit?
Sure. So in order to release a CAS, we would require a deposit of £4,000. Okay. And then to enroll, we would need another £4,000. So we're quite flexible at Coventry. It's almost like you chunk away at your tuition fees, okay, if that's what you want to do. So it'd be £4,000 to get the CAS. Again, though, if you want the scholarship, it is £8,000, and that is by December the 1st. So if you get your application in today, I think we can get that by December the 1st. What do you think, Joanna?
Yes, yeah? Absolutely, yes. Yes, thank you for that as well. So as we know now, the 2 years post-work visa is getting applied for students who are...
Brilliant.
Yes, there are lots of students and there's lots of demand for a second master's.
Course, yeah.
Does Coventry University offer second masters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely, of course. If you've already done a master's degree, we're not going to discourage you from doing another one, because, you know, if you want to learn them, we want to teach you. So absolutely. And it is worth mentioning the post-study work visa, you have to have enrolled by April 2021. So the January intake is the last one confirmed that you can get that. So I'd be getting on it.
Is a good chance. Yes,
very good opportunity.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to discuss with you today is, how long does it take from registration, let's say from an application, until they secure a CAS letter in your university, approximately, of course?
Well, that depends a lot of the time on how organised you are as a student. So if you came, made an application, and you had your academic transcripts, you had your English certificates, we booked you in for an interview. If you just had everything ready to go, it could probably take, I've known it done in 10 days, to be honest. We are being very, very quick at the moment in getting our offer letters out the door. So if you make an application today, today is Wednesday, you can expect to have an offer letter by the weekend or Monday. And then with interviews as well, we have just released a large number of interview slots. So you won't be held up with an interview in 3 weeks. It will probably be next week. So the timescales are very, very good at the moment. So yeah, I'd encourage getting the application in before we get very, very busy. If I could give one piece of advice to students, it would be, don't leave things to the last minute. A lot of my students have done, and it's a lot of work for you, and it's a lot of work for us. So just be as organised as you can be. It's a huge thing, and there's a lot to organise, but if you keep on top of it and don't leave it to the last minute, it's just a lot less stress for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're trying to say to them as well. Don't leave the things last minute. There's always something coming up, so it's good to be informed with everything, every document you will need for the application, and to secure the place in time.
Avoid stress.
Yes, absolutely. Another part of which students are insecure and a little bit afraid about is also accommodation part. As every international student coming from outside to a new country, they don't know how to deal with it. Does Coventry University offer accommodation, so on-campus accommodation, let's say?
Absolutely. So we're quite lucky at Coventry. Our campus is in the centre of the city. So we are a in-city university right in the centre of Coventry. Because of that, any pictures you see of Coventry, you'll see high-rises. A lot of those high-rises are student accommodation blocks. We have absolutely loads, to answer your question. The university owns a large number of the accommodation blocks, but we also have partnerships with third-party private suppliers as well. I can appreciate there's probably a lot of anxiety around your quarantine period. If you are choosing to come to the UK in time for January intake, then you can rest assured that we have certain things in place to support you during quarantine. So we have airport pickup services. and any private accommodation or university-owned accommodation is equipped to support you during your 14-day quarantine. But in terms of the accommodation itself, basically anything that you want, you can have. So we have 40-week contracts, 44-week contracts, ensuite, shared accommodation, studio apartments, single rooms, double rooms, family rooms, anything basically. Definitely for more information, go to the website on that, because I could bore you and list them all, but we have about 10, 12 to go through. So anything that you would want, you could apply for.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this information with us. Yes, this is more or less of what I had from students. However, we have some other questions on Facebook done to us now. So yeah, if we can answer those as well. We have a thank you. Thank you for listening to us today.
Thanks for joining.
Yes. A question we have is, are you accepting for second masters? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, as Georgia mentioned before, they're accepting second masters, so don't hesitate to apply and contact.
No, absolutely.
Another question we have is, what is the deadline for application for January intake?
So deadline for application, we don't tend to set one because everyone's circumstances are different. It might be that you can't make your application until quite close to enrollment. But what I would probably say as a provisional would be right at the end of the year. Let's say the end of the year. That'll give us enough time to process your documents, and it will give you enough time to get your bank statement, to get your interview. So again, bearing in mind, we will close over Christmas. I will still be working, but if other people aren't there to process your documents, then there's only so much I can do. So I would absolutely advocate being as early as possible, especially with the Christmas lockdown coming up. And by lockdown, I just mean that the university's closing, not a COVID lockdown, sorry.
Yes.
So yeah, our enrollment will be the second week of January. So I would say by the end of the year.
That's great. Thank you so much. Another question we have is, I have graduated at 2017. My medium of instruction is English in the situation. Do I need to sit an IELTS, or university will arrange a test regarding language proficiency?
Fab, that's a good question. I would, for Bangladeshi students, we would still require IELTS. I know it's slightly different for India. So if you are from India, then it might be that your medium of instruction is enough. But again, I'm not the India manager, so I'm so sorry, I don't know the answer to that question. But I will take it away, and Joanna, I will let you know.
Yes,
because it's not as straightforward as, no, you need IELTS. It may be actually that we'll accept you on the English that you already have. So I will check that.
Of course. Okay. Whilst you know that, I'm reading to you the next question about the deadline for CAS requests for January intake.
Again, so I like these questions. These are about deadlines. That's good. It will be roughly the same. So if you've made your application and we've given you an offer letter, we will still be giving CASs pretty much up until enrollment, because in a normal world where there was no coronavirus, we would give you a CAS and then you'd have 4 weeks to come to the United Kingdom. We're not doing that now because we understand that we need to be flexible. Not everybody's in a position where they can just hop on a plane. Countries have closed their borders, etc. So if you get a CAS for January intake, the date on the CAS will be up until the 1st of May. So you can start your studies online. And I would recommend you do so. If you weren't yet feeling comfortable in traveling, that is okay. The CAS deadline, the CAS date will be up until May. So you can start your course online in January, and then you can come to the UK in February, in March, in April, and your CAS will still be valid. So we have extended the CASs. So wanted to be a bit flexible there. So the CAS request can be later, so long as you've enrolled on your course.
That's good. Thank you so much. Another question we have is, what is the entry requirement for Indian student?
slightly different than with Bangladeshi students. In honesty, I apologize. I don't know off the top of my head, but I will check it. I will get back to Joanna because I am the country manager for Bangladesh, and I know that it's not exactly the same. So I don't want to tell you the wrong information.
Yes, absolutely. We are in contact together, so we will go back to these questions again, and we will be answering specifically with the right information. So yeah, we will be coming back to the question. Another one we have is, do you accept Duolingo English test?
So for Duolingo, we accept Duolingo for our pre-sessional English courses. And what pre-sessional English course is if you haven't quite got the English necessary for an undergraduate or a postgraduate course, you can do a short pre-sessional English course, which is 5 weeks, 10 weeks, or 15 weeks. We do accept Duolingo for that at the moment. I know there's a lot of revisions going on with Duolingo. It's being investigated by the Home Office to see whether it's an academic tool. So we don't accept it for our undergraduate or postgraduate courses, but at the moment you can still use Duolingo to get access to a pre-sessional English course if you don't quite have the English level 4 undergraduate.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Another question we have is, I have 4-year bachelor honours complete and have 𝗊𝗲𝗃𝗍 5.5. So will I be able to apply for a master's program on spouse visa in the UK?
Just taking that question in.
Yes.
I am not on the visa team, so I can't give visa advice to start with. So if you want more information, I can give you the email address for the visa help team, because I can't advise on individual circumstances with visas. I'm not qualified to do it. So again, I wouldn't want to give you the wrong information. If you have, what I can say is if you have your bachelor degree already, I would need to know what grade it was. I would need to know your English before I could say yes or no. But the spouse visa element of that question would need to go to a visa specialist.
Absolutely. But as I said before, we will be coming back to this question, so don't worry if you're not getting a proper specific answer now. Another question we have is, I have 10-year gap. Do you accept for first master?
10 years. Maybe. Again, it depends on what course you're applying for. So if you had a nursing undergraduate, but you've had a 10-year gap, then maybe we wouldn't be able to accept that. But for some courses, we may, but it completely depends on what it is.
Yes, of course. And the questions are continuing. I finished my bachelor degree in English medium. Can I apply without IELTS?
Again, I believe that's a question directed for an India specialist, because I do think in some instances the answer is yes. We do accept your English medium, but I don't know enough about specific India entry requirements to be able to answer that.
Okay. Another one we have is, if student will come here for January intake, course will start on the 12th and the student reach here on the 10th, and there is quarantine period. What about lectures?
Sure. So we have moved all our lectures for every single course online to start with. So as soon as you enroll, you will receive a link to our online learning platform, which is called 𝗷𝗃𝗲𝗀. That is a piece of software that it has all of your lectures, your seminars stored within it. It's a tool that you can use to communicate with your classmates, with your professors, and everything. So you will have to quarantine for 14 days if you arrive in the United Kingdom. That's the government requirement at the moment. You won't miss any lectures because you can do them online. And then once you are allowed on campus, once your quarantine is finished, every student is being given a minimum of 5 hours learning on campus per week. Some courses will be more. Health and life sciences in particular will probably get more than 5 hours a week. But as a minimum, and we are one of the only UK universities to provide this, we are still offering on-campus teaching. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, or if you have to quarantine, you can do everything online 100% if you want to. So please don't be worried about missing lectures. You won't.
Yes, that's great. That's great to hear, because it's good that now universities are doing online lectures. Those students won't be missing anything, even if they have to quarantine or if they're not feeling well to go to the university. That is great. So we have other questions coming up. However, we will be able to answer those. We will get in touch with the students. If you have anything else to add for us today, then you're more than welcome to.
I was just sending a message to my my colleague who works with India to see if I could try and get an answer on the English medium. So I will leave you all hanging for a minute to see whether he messages me back.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say, if you do feel comfortable coming over to the Coventry or London campuses, that your safety is the most important thing that we're taking into consideration. So whilst you will still have teaching on campus if you want it, you'll be within a very small bubble. You won't be interacting with more people than you have to. And our campuses are completely sanitized. They're one-way systems, everything that you would expect. So if you are feeling anxiety or uncertainty around shouldn't I be coming to the UK, I want to put your mind at rest a bit. The government is still encouraging people to come to the UK. They are still encouraging students to come, and the universities are open, ready for business, ready for teaching. So that is all I would add on that point.
That's great. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing this information with us today. I'm sure they feel more clear and they will know what to do and how to apply in your university. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you for everyone listening to us today. And again, if you have other questions, don't hesitate to contact us on the numbers we have
Absolutely.
there on our emails. If you want, we can wait a bit more if your colleague will come back to you for the India.
One moment.
Okay.
He has just said hi.
Okay.
So he may give me an answer in a minute. If he hasn't, I don't want to waste any more of your time, but I'll give him just one moment.
Yes.
He said, we don't tend to as a rule. It depends on the course. So I'm sorry, that's exactly what I told you.
Yes.
So any student that was asking about the English medium, or indeed if you have any other questions at all, what I would recommend you do is to get in touch with 𝗷𝗂𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀 Consultancy. They're experts in their field. They're there to help and support you. So do use them. Joanna loves being busy. Like, you know, she wants your calls. Equally, message me. I'm on Facebook as well, or drop me a line. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. So yeah, thank you very much for joining today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for joining us today as well. We really appreciate you being here. Thank you to everyone, and we will see each other on other Facebook Live sessions.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. Take care.
You too.